Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your love and finance tarot guidance for the month of October 2016. Now, I think last month I had some sort of a disclaimer at the beginning because of everything that was going on. So let's see this month if we can actually uncover something that has to do with love and finance in a pleasant way, right? Because this is probably one of our more simple months of the year without so many energies to make us crazy. So let's see what's going on this month first, okay, shall we? We start off with, on the 6th, Mercury leaving shadow. On the following day, on the 7th, it finally enters Libra, okay, moves on from Virgo. So that's why you've constantly heard me say the 8th, because just get past that. Just get past it. So anyway, after that, we have on the 16th a full moon in Aries, okay, and not as much this month, which is really nice. On the 22nd, the sun will enter Scorpio. On the 24th, see, once Mercury is direct, it moves really quick. On the 24th, it'll be moving on into Scorpio. And on the 30th, the new moon will be in Scorpio. So as you can see, a lot of the energy is starting to shift in that Scorpio direction. So that'll make things interesting, maybe a little more intense, but that's okay. Intense without all of the other nonsense is probably a good thing. This really is quite an interesting month for so many of you because you're in the midst of this new beginning, right? And the biggest commitment that you have is to yourself. I like that, okay? It's like it's about time, that type of thing. But what I also like here is that even with all the changes that you made up through, say, the equinox and whatever, and things that happened, and probably even that big thing, there was some finality in there. Remember how I said there were like little dangling things that needed to be taken care of? Well, here you are, facing those stressors head on, like boop, 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 boop. You know what I'm saying? It's easier now. It's not as bad as it was before because it's almost like, it's almost like you're being shown the way, to tell you the truth. Whether you find an actual physical person who is helping you or just through the guidance of the universe that you're getting there. And you have to remember that Jupiter is also in Libra now. So necessary relationships just sort of start springing up, especially with all of that Mercury retrograde stuff out of the way. It's easier now to locate the right people to give you the proper guidance to get to where you need to be. And I think, I've mentioned October the 8th for so long. I think as you get to there, you're realizing, not just that you're feeling a little more carefree, but it's that sense of adventure. Kind of like zippity doo dah. I don't know how else to put it. The old Jungle Book song. So it's a big change, not just in your perspective, but in your whole outlook, like in your gait, your step. You know what I'm saying? You're really feeling different. And it's amazing what some positive change can do for you. That's what I said, as being able to go forward and any stressful things that remain go, okay. It's like so much easier to tackle that now. Remember before I said about, working on things? Boy, once the solution to that finally came, anything else that you'd had on your mind that you wanted to do, it's not a big deal. So this month is really, I want to say, packed full of celebrations in a sense, okay? Like coming together with others. This could be anything. For some of you, it's going to be things like weddings, engagements, parties, but there's this huge sense of fulfillment before the end of the month. All right? Making new plans regarding love. Oh, now, I really like this, okay? Because, first of all, like I said before, there's this kind of like this renewal of, self, how you love yourself and how you take care of yourself. And I'm not one of those people that goes around preaching that kind of stuff, but it feels like that more positive you who's more in love with who you are now and what you have going on and what you've managed to accomplish, that emotional well-being is what ultimately does help attract the love that you may be looking for, if indeed you are looking. Okay? Now, when it comes to that higher authority, that can be anything. It can be your boss at a job. It could be, government, schools, any regulations. Still, things are, I don't know how to put this. I feel like they're finally stabilizing. Maybe that's a good word. Here in the U.S., we have had the most bizarre presidential election taking place this year ever. And I've had people ask me would I do a tarot guidance for it. And, I won't. And I don't even want to say anything out loud because I don't want to jinx what the outcome should be. But for those of you who pay attention to some things, let me just say that most of the energy before the month ends will be shifting into Scorpio. And that's where much of it will be when the election takes place. So we will leave it at that. Alrighty. Now, your intuition. I think you're finally learning to trust yourself a little bit more. See, in the past, whenever so much happened over recent years, that I think there was this constant self-doubt, self-criticism. I can't make anything work right. Why is nothing working right? Blah, 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 blah. And it was a huge struggle because here it is, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. It was like you just felt like you were battling anything and everything. And there were losses. But it's all changing. You have this whole new vision. And it came in somewhere around the equinox that you started to see. I mean, you need a new plan. You got to work on things. You don't ever just get to a point in life and stay there. The status quo never stays the same. So, that's not doable. It's not at all possible. But it is finally possible to have a vision for change. And this is a very good thing. There is very much this month that ability to, take a leadership role. I want to say even around the full moon. I don't know what that's about, but I want to say around the full moon. Taking a leadership role could be on your job, could just be around circumstances, situations that need, some taking care of. But you're now viewing yourself and others are viewing you in this, the word I want to use is reliable, okay? But it's more than reliable, like steadfast, all right? Because you've proven yourself through so much, through time, and you may not have been several years ago, but you're now more so like the rock that everybody needs. Not to say that you need to be there for everyone, but you're becoming a more solid individual in your ability. And, you will see some rewards coming your way this month, which is good. Because I think after, things that have happened, it might be in the second half of the month, like after the full moon, all right, that you finally see where, maybe you've been waiting for a raise, something to take place. It brings in a big transition. And you got to remember, life is always full of transitions. You have all these different areas of life. You have all these different things going on. So there's always things happening. And there is that, ever present patience that's necessary. What I'm seeing here is, and I have to let you figure out how this applies to a situation in your life. But I honestly feel like it deals with a specific person and how you speak to them. Okay? It's not in such a way so as to manipulate them, and I have images of people going through my head like crazy. Not for me, but for all of you out there, those of you who talk to me. And I can see all these different situations happening where I think you're finally getting control over a situation in order to get what you want from it. But I'm telling you, it's not manipulation. I think it's actually finally an understanding a little more about what makes this other person tick so that you can, at the very least, feel comfortable in your own skin. So it's an interesting time, okay? And I think that that's part of the intuition as well. But I think that that's so important because when you finally start to look at people that you deal with every day and go, oh, I get it now. Now I know what it is I should be saying or what I should not be saying, or even actions, whatever it is that you think you've been doing or saying that was not getting you the result that you needed with this person. It could be a love relationship, it could be a job relationship, but you have to remember, and I'll be talking about it all year, Jupiter's in Libra, so it deals a lot with relationships. So I think this is good. This is probably about the time, like maybe later in the month. What did I say? Mercury goes into Scorpio on the 24th. All right. And Scorpio likes to dig deep. All right. So I think you're really learning in that communicative aspect how to communicate with at least one individual, somebody that maybe you just haven't been, like I said, getting the results that you need in that particular relationship. So this will take you very far in the long haul. So, and I mean, it's tied in with love, relationships, and there's a great deal of enlightenment that comes through this. So I like this for you a lot, okay? A whole lot. Now, some of you out there may take a short trip. That sounds funny to say that. You never hear me say that kind of thing. But it's here where you actually go somewhere. Go just be over to the next town. Like it's more, to me, it looks more like an outing kind of a thing. But it's that time of year for many, depending upon where you live, that there are things to do. Nothing wrong with that. Now for the rest of you, this is more like a destination that you needed to get to in your own mind. And that's good as well. Okay, because you have been defending yourself for so long. And, it's time for, I want to say, feeling that rainbows and unicorns mood. It's trying to come in, but I don't think as much. Where are we at? October. I think really that's that next August thing. I think your rainbows and unicorns come in then, whatever you want to call it. But it's that type of thing because there are many details to be worked out, and there's so much choosing to do, and some of the things that need to be chosen, like as you're going along, because I see this feeling more happy-go-lucky this month, but it's like, oh, wait a minute, look, which way do I go? I'm amazed the universe even gave me a way to go. Okay. The reality of everything, remember we've been talking about this for months. How do you choose? Does one of those roads look familiar? Have you kind of been down it before? Maybe with a different person, maybe with a different job, a different situation, Something's happening, all right? So now you're going to look at it and you're really going to see. I think that you're going to appreciate all of the Scorpio energy coming in at the end of the month, because I really think it's going to help you to dig deep, to make decisions that need to be made, and watch as abundance wants to enter into your life. In a very good way. I'm liking this. I really truly am. Bad habits. All right. How do you get rid of them? How do you face them? You know, they can run the gamut. Bad habits could be anything from overeating to drug addiction to, being on your cell phone too much. It's time for change. And it's time to, I want to say, get that monkey off your back, whatever it is. So this is an interesting time. I don't think that you could have done this before. All right, here I am tapping on my chair. I don't think you could have done this before because everything else was so overwhelming up until this point. But before this month is over, you're going to really be feeling good about some things, in regard to some family matters. There's finally success. There's change that's coming where I think you can hold your head up high and say, I did it. I rose above it. So this could go back to that thing that plagued you for the 5 years, because that's at the center of the reading. It just, that patience, like a gentle patience having to have with that to get to go forward was just too much. So there is this, okay, I can be reborn. I can choose differently. I can have a different life. So while you're at it, why not choose? Yeah, why not choose to, change your whole health routine, your diet, whatever it is, because there's something that makes you not feel right and something you need to change. So that's a good positive thing. I like that a lot. And I have a feeling that there's something out there for everyone to be doing. I'm going to put a few more down just to see what we've got. Relationships are very much highlighted this month. Like I said, I think because of Mercury now being direct and Jupiter now being in Libra, you have the ability to actually look around and see where new relationships, alliances, whatever can be formed, instead of having those old people coming back in, and making you crazy. Not old as in elderly, but old as in, from the past. We're done with them. All right? We are done with them. So here you go. There are fresh starts to be had in life all the time. And your perspective has changed tremendously. It's a good thing. I just feel like this month you're more carefree, more easygoing, and that I want to say that like around every corner, every bend, things are happening. Okay? You're a little bit still unfamiliar with the territory if you weren't always that, independent person who could just do whatever they needed to do. Some people have made great progress with that. Some of you are like, am I going to be able to stand on my own 2 feet? This all looks good the way it's working out, but don't let yourself, don't overthink it. Don't doubt what it is you're supposed to have, because everything you have is coming, and you just kind of need to play things easy. Remember, I have been saying this for weeks now, that when you made it to October, the idea was not to like rush out and do extreme things. It's rather to explore all the possibilities that are put before you and take your time with them, because there are new doors that will open. And I think there's a few minor ones that some of you still need to close. But you've been like working on all that, and that is not a part of it. Relationships, very much a big thing this month. I mean, this is a good month to me, all right, to say, go ahead and go on that first date, all right? Why not? take that chance, because I think there are more things to be taking chances this month. That's good. I like that. So you had that really powerful new moon at the end of October. That's how you're starting out the month. And I think it just sets you up to really begin moving along. And you probably don't even realize it as you're going. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, things don't feel so bad now. Is that possible? So, big changes coming. And like I said, rewards that you need. One of the most important things that I see here is that individual, that you realize what you need to do. Like I said, it's not meant to manipulate them, not meant to get something from them. It's just, I think, making the relationship run smoother, where there have been bumps in the road before, or you couldn't quite figure that person out. I think that's one of the biggest highlights of your month. And it doesn't matter what kind of a relationship it is. It's not about pushing people's buttons to get a response. It's about knowing how to just talk to them and how to act around them. And things will just start working the way they're supposed to. So that's a really good thing. So I think you're going to find you're going to like this month a great deal. I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll see you here again next month. Take care.